Hey, y'all. How y'all doing tonight? I know it has been forever and a day since I came on here and told some stories or whatever. And y'all, golly, I am so tired because y'all know I've been doing a whole bunch of stuff. But okay, we came on here tonight because my sister Shalyssa, that's me, has been telling her, hey, there goes Shalyssa right there in the chat. If y'all ain't checked out any of her stories yet, of back in the days, we are sisters that I end up raising her at a certain point in her life after our mom passed away. And I was a instant parent of a teenager, not knowing what all I was doing. I don't know what that little spot is right there, but anywho. But she grew up and started to have a lot of challenges with in the men's section. And like I said, if y'all ain't went over and checked out her stories and listened to the stories of how she kept running into narcissistic people, being in relationships with them, then go over and check that story out and hear about it. Because then if you don't, then you'll be lost in whatever that I'm talking about. But she is in a part of the story where she's telling about she's back and forth in this relationship with this guy. At this moment, I've taken her son away from her at one point, moved him in with me. This guy has wrecked several of her cars. She's moving, and I wouldn't even say that he has her doing all of these things. She is in a relationship with someone who she allowing this to happen with her, and she didn't know how to change it. She just thought things was going to get better. And I just happened to be the one that was going along this journey with her. Well, when I think about this journey over and over again, because she want to know, like, what is my opinion? What was happening back then, because she got her side of what she saw happening, but I got my side of what was happening, and plus all the things that I was going through at the time. So, and in this last story, I remember her saying that she was riding down the road and they were supposed to be going their separate ways or whatever, but she was headed to drop him off somewhere. And on the way there, he started to pull out some of her papers from her glove box and started to, let them fly out the window. And I know she had a lot of important papers because she did not have a place to live. She was living, in hotels and stuff like that at this time. But when she started to talk about this part about him throwing the paperwork out the window, I remember on that day that my nephew was riding in the car with him. And I remember him calling me and talking real low on the phone, and he was saying, hey, we riding down the road and he keeps snatching my mama's steering wheel. I said, what do you mean he keeps snatching your mama's steering wheel? He said, yeah, while she driving, he keep reaching over and he keep grabbing the steering wheel while she driving the car. So I asked him, I said, well, where y'all at? He told me where they at. They riding past these big bodies of water and everything, and he doing this, and then he throw a mail out. So he telling me what's going on as the day goes on. And I'm very disappointed at this time, but also too, at this time in this situation, hey Miss Coffee, how you doing? At this time in this situation, not only am I going through this situation with her, but I'm going through it with two other family members that's also um going through this same exact thing. And as a matter of fact, two of the family members was dating two relatives that was both in the same situation. And it was like living in the twilight zone. And every time this would come up, and see, because I wasn't in a situation when I was growing up, my mom didn't have, I'd never seen her like really, really in a relationship. So relationship things, like, I don't really know. But the one thing that stuck in my head is that back in the days, my aunt was in a relationship with this guy that used to physically abuse her. And I can remember there will be nights where we'll be asleep and we'll be woken up by the screaming and yelling. And it wasn't the screaming and the yelling of a man. It was the screaming and yelling of my mom yelling at my auntie, because my aunt would come home and her lip would be split, a black eye. I mean, you name it. It was all different kinds of things happening. I just remember being woke up out of my sleep and my mom fussing at her about coming home with her face like that, or being with somebody who was like that. So it was like I grew up and like knew it. And so when my sister and them started going through this, I was just like, I definitely knew that it was a no-no. And during the time that they was going through this stuff, and remember, I said there was three of them that we was going through this same situation with. As a matter of fact, out of these three relatives, two of them was doing the same thing to each other, they women, and the two of them call themselves checking each other about what the other one doing, and they both doing the same thing, and the two of them fought. But anyways, that's later on down in the story. But during this time while she going through this, I am very, very frustrated, over the top at her. And I don't call her every name it is that you can think of in the book, because she's still with this dude that she taking care of him. I mean, providing him somewhere to stay, feeding him, um, washing his clothes and everything. And the only thing he doing is lagging along with her and there to take away from him. So at a certain point, I keep talking to her, and then I'm getting nowhere with talking to her. So I was just frustrated. So a lot of this stuff that she was talking about during this time, yeah, there came the time, because if she without a car, then who is the one that's holding her down when she ain't got no car, no nothing? Yes, it's me, her sister. So she got to explain to me how you lose two cars in that short amount of time. And now I'm finding out she's not responsible for losing not one of the cars. She done let this boy take two of her cars, crash them, and destroy them. And you want me to be okay with him? Yeah. So at this time, she was having a hard time trying to sell him to me, trying to make me believe anything. Because I remember during this time, me and her, we going back and forth, because me and my husband is adamant. She hiding the fact, is the reason she went through this for so long is because she was hiding the fact that the information that she giving out now, she definitely was not giving all of that information to us. She was giving us bits and pieces. And half of the stuff we knew, she wouldn't have wanted us to know it anyways. We knew it because her tag was connected to our address. So of course, when the police come looking for you, that's where they come to look for you, via the address you got on your paperwork. So that's how we were finding out a lot of things. And I think that if she could avoid us knowing anything about what she was going through at that time, I think she would have hid everything, and it would have just been, under the surface. She would have still kept on going through it or whatever. And also too, if it wasn't for my nephew coming back to saying things to me, I could tell you in this situation with him coming back and telling me that he going through the stuff that he going through, um made me madder than anything that she was going through, that my nephew was going he was going through this. And I don't know if anybody in here that been in this situation where they got a family member that constantly going through this thing, and you looking at it and you like, there's no reason for you to be going through this. Why don't you just move along? And so just thinking about this was very, very frustrating. But again, the details that she giving out, she wasn't giving us all those details or whatever. She was telling you what she wanted us to know. And so if you in this situation like this right here of what they have going on, you don't know what all going on over here, and you don't know what all going on over there. You just like somewhere in the middle of it. And then right now I'm finding out the truth. The only truth that I knew about was was the things my nephew was coming to tell me. But um during once he got to this place right here, yeah, I was upset with my sister, but at this time too, I'm starting to go to a place of being vengeful. Like I want to, like any other sibling or whatever, it's like she's like my daughter, and so it's like at this moment, my mind, they say, what they say about the quiet mind is the devil's workshop. Well, if you can think about what I'm saying, I was definitely in that place where I was allowing my mind to be the devil's workshop, because I had them set it up to places where I literally wanted people to tell me, like, if you see him over in this place or you see him over in that place, like I was wanting them to let me know that he was in places, because I wanted to run into him, or I wanted someone in the family to run into him in those situations. But later on, like we all know too, is that if they in these types of relationships and everything, even if you able to run into those types of situations and you can get somebody to put hands on them, or you can get somebody to do anything to them, the family member that you think you doing it for is going to be more mad at you than anything they could have been mad at this person that doesn't mean them any good. So for me, the struggle was, how do I be able to keep telling my sister the truth and still keep a relationship with her? And I mean the three family members that was all in that, the same, everything's so intertwined. It's like I can take all of them. There were certain things going on with one, where one of them mom was saying he don't like to take no baths and stuff. And I remember a family member arguing back and forth with me, and I'm saying, listen, if this guy's mom is telling you that he don't like to take a bath, I say most moms don't want to come out and like bash their sons or no nothing like that. But if she coming to tell you behind the scenes that such and such ain't taking no bath or whatever, I said, then I think you should believe his mama, because I don't just think she's saying stuff like that. And this guy and the one that Shalyssa is talking about, they both relatives. And both of them, me and my husband at this moment is suspecting that they both using extracurricular things. And you can let your, well, Shalyssa tells about all of that stuff over there. But at this moment, she got so many things flying at her, and of course, she don't want to tell me about any of them because he done wrecked the car. Not one time, but 2 times he totaled 2 of her cars. And I'm still the one still trying to tell her that he ain't for you. And the thing is I'm talking to her on the phone, and everything in me can hear her saying, she calling me every name in the book up under her breath, even though I'm telling her the truth. So if you got a family member or something that is in this type of situation and you trying to tell them the truth, they may not hear you. Hey, TSM rapper, they may not hear you when you talking to them during the time, but eventually they will have ears to hear you. There were so many things that she went through, and all I did was the things that she did tell me and share with me. I stored them up in my head, and so I started telling her as she started going through other things. I started to say to her, but you went through this same thing this last time. But you went through this same thing last time. And I started telling her own stories. And I guess after a while, me telling her the same story over and over again, she start to hear what I'm saying to her. And I'm not telling her my story. I'm telling her about what she told me about situations that happened with them before. And for whatever reason, it didn't click in. But I'm telling you, I didn't give up. I didn't give up on my sister. I didn't think she was supposed to be in that place. I didn't want her to be in that place. I think she deserved way more than what she was getting. She was getting an empty bank account because she was giving, and she wasn't receiving anything. He was making situations seem like, I mean, even one time her explaining to me, oh, he give me his whole check. She told me about he give her a whole check, but then I go back, and after a while, I'm starting to hear her say, he keep coming back and he asking for more money, more money, more money. And then after a while, I say, yeah, he giving you his whole check, but he taking it all back all at a little bit at a time. So if you do the math, he ain't giving you anything. If anything, he letting you borrow or hold on to his check at the beginning of the month. And then by the time the end of the month is over with, he done spent every dime and you done paid every bill by yourself, all the gas and everything, and he's still taking away from you. But for a good long 3 years, I went back and forth with my sister. And I'm telling you, this, she gonna have you on the edge of your seat, because the last situation that I remember her being in is he taking her on a long ride at Knife Point from one county to another county. And I'm having to sit and listen to this happen as she drive from this place to that place. I mean, and it's so jumbled up in my mind. See, she can remember the stories because she was there in it. The only thing that I can go about is when she talk about these situations, what came up in me. And then I can just remember, it's just like it would be times where he would be locked up. And again, here she is, she's the one out here working, got 2 jobs, she got a kid and everything, and she ain't even got her own place again yet. But he writing and he asking for money or whatever. And whatever money she would send to him, he would talk junk. And I hope I ain't overstepping my boundaries, but I'm just talking about what the things that I can remember during this time. He would be saying stuff like, that little bit of money that you sent me. And when she would say that, he said those things to me, and I would just say little sentences to her. And hopefully this is for somebody who you talking to those people, because actually when you talking to them, you ain't gonna get nowhere, because God knows I call her stupid 550,000 times in the back of my mind. but I never physically stood in front of her and like, you little stupid, you little stupid so and so. I never did that to her. Um, but everything in my mind. So when I wanted to take that example of he's asking her for money, she's out here working two jobs, getting the money, and she's sending it to him. And he could write back and say to her, and I don't know what you think you're doing, sending that little bit of money. I mean, something he's not even working for. He ain't contribute to anything. It ain't like he set her up or nothing before he went to jail or whatever. And in just those, I used to look for little nuggets like that. So I would say to her, listen, you're out here, and I would just break it down to her. You're out here, you're working two jobs. You and your son don't have anywhere to live. And you taking money that you could be saving and towards getting you and your son into a place, and you sending it to him, which you don't have to, but you doing it. And he got the audacity to complain about how much money you sending to him. I say, now, if that ain't ungrateful, I don't know what is. And I just would tell her, I want you to think about those things. And if you were talking to somebody, what would you be saying to them about these things right here that they saying to you? It's like, no, this is ridiculous. He loved to say, let me get $20. The favorite line, favorite line, especially when you in that, and when you in that field. Hey, Kanita, how you doing tonight? I'm good to see you. You good? You helping me remember more too. And boy, reality really kicks in. Yeah, it's just like so many things that she was saying. Then to come to find out, it's like, yeah, I don't want to tell too much of your story. I just want to stick with I want to stick with the part that you speaking on right now, and where it just made me feel, it made me, this part of the story that she through made me have flashbacks. And I'm glad she wasn't living with me at this time, because I probably would have screamed at her a whole bunch of different times or whatever. But during this time, all I had was to be able to try and talk common sense to her and say, that, you know, this is not how your life should be going. This is not the example of what your son should be seeing as to who and what a man is. And they also explaining to her, when you got a child that's growing up like that and they wish that they can protect you, I say sooner or later you'll have him in a position where he's ready to do something that you won't be able to save him from. And I said, if you get him in one of those situations, and those of you all who know, you know what I'm talking about. A son always wants to protect his mama in situations like that. He's a little boy facing, trying to stand up or thinking about standing up to a grown man, even if he ain't spoke it out loud. He's thinking of ways to be able to save his mama, a position that he should not be in. And that was one of the things that I started to talk to my sister about is, I know you want this situation and you want it to work out or whatever, but in the meantime, while you're wanting this situation to work out, my nephew is growing to a place of where he's starting to think about, when I get this big or when I get this, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z to him. And you don't want him to be put in no situations like that. And I think too, that was one of the things that started to, help her open up her eyes a little bit, start to have conversations with him and ask him, how he felt about being in those situations when those things was happening. They expect you to stay with them when they are not, when they are nothing. There there are so many others out here, and these narcs just waste your life and time. They mess up good people for good people. Yep, and then you tote that stuff over, and everything you see somebody else doing, you the first sign of it, you think, oh God, here it go again. So, um, but goodness, there was one other thing that I had that I wanted to touch on, but that was another one of the things is like just reminding her how it feels for him to have to sit there and see her going through that, and he can't defend her or he can't do anything about it. And I say, his mind is thinking and thinking, that eventually one day, if you stay with him long enough, he gonna try it. He gonna try it. And I'm telling you, not telling her story, but everything that I told her that he would try or that he would want to do, he really wanted to do all of those things. He really tried all of those things. Which in a heat of a moment or of any moment, a child can think that that's the best thing to do and try to enter into that situation and help a grown up out, and then they end up being the one to get hurt. So, you know, I don't know if y'all got any questions or anything about this part right here. My mind just thinking about it, listening to her tell the story, it just flashed back to waking up out of my sleep and hearing my mom yell at my auntie several times over about allowing her face to be. Oh, and another part of it that she talked about in there, it don't never sound good to me anyways, because that she was, in her mind, she thought that as long as I fight back, then I'm not in like a DV situation. And hopefully you all know what the DV situation mean, because I don't think they really like that word on here, but it's the domestic V. So she felt like if I physically fight him back, then I'm not being abused in that way. And I'm just like, no, yeah, no, that wouldn't be the right thinking, because and for one thing, a woman ain't got no business fighting a man. If she end up having to defend herself, absolutely, I'm all down for that. But just even to hear her say that she felt like she wasn't being abused because she fought back. Huh. Yeah, maybe there's a lot of women who think that because they swing back or they hit back or whatever, that it's not what it is. But yeah, it's still the same thing. It's still the same thing. That is facts. Boys want to protect their moms. Yeah, so all I just can keep thinking about was what was going through my nephew's mind. And it's like the more and more he dug, she was allowing him. And I always want her to take accountability, because once you start to take accountability for the situation that you in, you'll start to do something different. It won't leave you comfortable in the situation. But as long as all you can do is you can go back, because we can go back to him and say, oh, he did X, Y, he did this, he took her car, he did this, he bust the window out, or he stole her money, he did all this. And after all he did those things, with every one of those things that she did, she was in agreement to allow him to come back to us. So I always say, you have to eat from your plate of accountability, or you'll end up back in this same spot again, because you ain't take. Yeah, you can tell his part of the story and you can say that he did X, Y, and Z. But if you don't take your accountability as to how you get here, you're gonna skip over how you got here, and you're gonna end up being back in this same relationship again, it's just like somebody else I know, they in a relationship. I ain't gonna tell them to leave the person who they with and going through all of this extra stuff with, because let me tell you something. If you with somebody who doing this over here to you and you leave them, the twin brother is sitting around the corner waiting to step right in. Hence is why she still kept dating, getting into relationships with the same man. Now that I'm thinking about that too, this was the other thing too. Because this guy, right from the beginning, not only him, but I think it's another one too. But I remember during this time when she first was getting on, she was on the computer a lot. I don't know what that little spot is right there. I cannot figure that out. But anyways, during this time, she was on the computer. And I remember one time she was like, I was like, what is that you on? You know, I ain't know nothing about the computer. I know none of that. But I'm like, what are you doing on the computer? She was like, oh, I'm on POL or whatever it was back then, right? And I was like, yes, Jawan, Shalyssa is my sister. I was like, I hope when you talking to those people online, I say you're not giving them my address, because you know when she first started talking to them in the beginning, I said, I hope you're not giving out my address or whatever. She was like, oh, and so I know that oh means yeah, she was giving out my address, and I told her, I said, you better not be giving my address to anybody. Well, after I told her that, she sent somebody the address. And there, we lived across the street from a park. And I ain't talking about like no 4 lanes or nothing like that. I'm talking about we in a neighborhood park that my kids go back and forth across the street all day long. She gave them the address to the park. They would pull over to the park, but see her walking from my house to the park. And I'm just like the craziness was really, really going. And I'm telling you, I'm not only dealing with it with her, I'm dealing with it with 3 family members at the same time. And they all talking to me, and I'm all trying to talk them through this craziness that they going on. But she picked up one after the other. So I don't encourage them to leave the one who they with, because if you haven't learned in this situation right here, you're going to go and pick up the same thing again. So, of course, other family members was like, you need to leave that joker. You know, me, I try not to let that come out of my mouth, because I just know there is something you have to work through your own self, and you're going to either work through it in this. We all go through process. I heard somebody say, if you ain't in a process right now, you leaving a process, or you getting ready to go in one. We all going through the process, and so there's all different kinds of ways to go through them. Narcs live on dating sites. You will find love or normal people on them. I will never go on them date sites. I know that's right. I guess you learned after a while. Hey, growing with Hudson was funny then, but it wasn't funny at all back then. If y'all from Chicago, because of the ex. No, we ain't from Chicago. we from Florida. How you doing, growing with Hudson? Happy belated birthday to you, even though I wished you happy birthday, but we ain't wish you happy birthday over here. So happy birthday to you, growing with Hudson. But yeah, this was a roller coaster ride for me. Listen, and even one time they was at our house, and this the last part I'm gonna tell, because I know this bringing back so many memories. I mean, one time, what really solidified it for me with this dude right here, we were sitting down at the table out in the yard. We had cooked a lot of food and stuff. I think we was having like a family reunion or something like that. But we was all sitting to the table, and my sister-in-law was trying to talk to me, and he was sitting in the chair next to me. And when my sister-in-law trying to talk to me, he right here in my ear. He just kept saying, and I just looked back and I told him, I said, can you be quiet for a minute? And I was like, I can't hear. And I'm not no rude person. I'm not no rude person like that. Y'all don't never see me getting rude or disrespectful like that unless I'm mad about something. Y'all don't see me mad before. But I just don't rock like that on the norm. So I'm like, I can't hear what she's saying, trying to be nice to him or whatever. And I'm turning around and I'm back talking to her. And he behind me and he just going, yeah. And I was like, what is wrong with this boy? So I turned around to him and I just kind of look at him and he's still going. So I turned back around and I'm trying to focus on what my sister-in-law saying to me. But he's so loud over here in my ear, and it's like he can go 500 other places, but he done came and parked next to me, and he talking really loud in my ear. My sister-in-law steady trying to tell me, and I can't hear one word coming out her mouth, and he steady just right here in my ear, right here. I turned around to him and I say, boy, if you don't shut the hell up, just like that. And I was just like, golly, I'm sitting right here in front of my sister-in-law face and I can't hear anything that she's saying because you steady over here going on and on and on. And instead of him shutting up, he started doing, now he talking to Shalyssa. Because Shalyssa is like, come on, baby, let's go, or something like that. She telling him, and at this moment, I don't care what she telling, as long as you get the hell away from me. She telling him something, and then he saying, well, and he never shut up. He just kept on doing. He's like, yeah, was she right? She was right. She ain't wrong for telling me to shut up because she was telling me to be quiet forever and ever. And then I just kept on talking and kept on talking. And then I ain't know what to do. And I just got, I say, well, God, I say, if you don't get this boy away from me, please. And then they ended up getting up and going somewhere. But at this point, you knew. And I'm steady trying to tell her. And I'm telling you, even with my husband talking to her and telling her, I done been down this road before, Shalyssa. Your boy got a problem. She still, she had to go through her own process, but yeah, roller coaster ride that she was on. But I am from Chicago. They say we sound southern. We right out of Florida. Narcs take out many way and love get with them that fake you in so many relationship jobs and even the pets. Ooh, yeah, he probably never had no one check him like that. Girl, he was high as a kite. High as a kite. What that had done happened is he had done went and hit something, and then he came and he sat down next to me, and I was just like, I couldn't understand for the life of me because I had never heard him do that before or whatever. But he was so gone at that time that it's like he just kept going right in my ear. But yeah, he was high out of his mind, and later probably took it out on her when you told him to shut up. I don't know, but right there in front of me, he was just like trying to explain to her and tell her, yeah, well, she tried to tell me to be quiet. And I was just like, oh gosh, now he just gonna sit here and he just gonna explain to her why I just told him to shut the hell up. I'm just like, I couldn't think, I couldn't believe it. And then it was like, too, in certain points of it, I started to talk to some of the men and stuff in our family to like go and check him. And I even ended up backing up out of that because women, we often can go to the men and stuff in our family and we can end up being responsible for them no longer being here, for sending them to situations like that, especially when you got somebody who dealing with someone and they not ready to leave them. Bad as you want them to be ready, they not ready. So you don't send another family member there. Hold on 1 minute, y'all. I'm sorry. it, then I would have it way over in La La Land. Hello? What child? Okay, y'all. I got that phone call in the middle of my live, and I couldn't hear nothing they were saying. But you trying to send another family member. Oh, I remember when I seen you before. Now, did you was on Joey and Kimmy's Seafood 6 months ago? I saw you in Vero Beach when I was down there. Is you from that area? What? Joey and Kimmy's buying seafood about 6 months ago. I don't know. Jawan. Yeah, we be in Vero for sure. But oh, what's up, Korean? How you doing tonight? Um, but if you got a family, ladies, if you got a family member, probably a guy or something, that you would tell about something that's going on in somebody else's relationship. When these people, when this girl and this guy ain't ready to separate from each other, she's saying it out of her mouth, but you have to pay attention to the behavior. Because you can say one thing out of your mouth, but if your behavior don't match up with the things that you're saying, or we don't see no evidence of you trying to do the things that you say you're trying to do, don't put your other family members in harm's way, because you don't never know what can happen in those situations. And then the one family member that you sent then trying to rectify the situation can be 6 feet under, and she'll still be with old dude that he's 6 feet under for, happy and smiling and mad at you because you sent them over here, so my brother beat my sister night and she got mad at there you go, Kanita. I told you, they'll get mad, and then there she is, she mad at your brother for what? You have to know when to send people into those situations. You want to definitely protect them, but then you don't want to harm them at the same time. I'm just messing with you. I looked up your social media so I can pretend to know you. Okay, Jawan. All right, then. I don't know what to say about that. I guess you being honest, listening to you. But we say already. Usually we don't say we from Vero Beach. We from Gifford. We from Gifford, Florida. But that's Vero Beach all at the same time. And I don't know who no Kimmy and Joey is, seafood place or whatever. But whatever. Listening to you, ready to fall asleep. Okay, then. Well, then does that mean my voice is soothing? Watching from Sydney, Australia, all the way from Australia. Thank you, Chosen. See, you was chosen to be over here. That's exactly how it be. When I told my male family what I was going through and I was serious, I never went back. And they wanted to come down here to Orlando to whoop his. I've been out 4 years strong, and I'm so happy. All right, Kanita, we neighbors. That's where I'm. We over in the same place. I know. I just apologized for a restaurant. I know. I just Googled for restaurants in the area. All right, Jawan, where you from? Um. Soothing. um. But yeah, I just wanted to come on and see. I was only gonna be on here 30 minutes, but like it's hard for me to wrap my mind around something. All right, Juwan, you might be family too. Then keep on now. We got family all up in there too. Jacksonville in the house. Come on, come through Florida. Come through Florida. I don't know why I thought when you come on here, Duval. Yep, that's what I'm talking about. You know, sis, we Duval in the house. Yes, but I like to thank you all for coming through over here. Where in the morning times we usually out in the garden and we still be talking about stuff out there in the garden, but I usually come on here and show y'all how y'all can grow your groceries. You ain't gotta buy no seeds and no none of that stuff. If you shop over in the fresh food section in the grocery store, you can grow almost anything that you buy from over there at the fresh food section and start your own garden out in your yard. And then if you lazy and you don't want to start no garden, then do like Miss Yo Thoughts told us to do. Get you a pack of seeds and go out there in the yard and sling them across the yard, and I guarantee you will see them growing. You should grow something. Do you see what happened over there in Baltimore? They just locked up another place for us to get different things in from over there on the ships and all of that stuff like that. The war that's going on also blocked up different places for us to get supplies and everything. I've been telling y'all about shortages coming just like it did at C-19. Y'all better get on your grind and start doing some preparation. I even suggest to go get you a sweet potato from the store, stick it in the ground, let it grow, let the vines grow all over the ground. At least you can do. If you ever run into a crisis and you ain't got nothing else to do, you can go out in your yard and you can dig up a sweet potato and eat it too. This is over here where the high class gardeners reside at. We don't play with no bugs, no worms, and no snakes. And that's in real life. We don't like snakes, no worms, and no bugaboos. We don't mess with none of that. But what we do believe in over here is we believe in growing some food and preparing for what is about to come. You see how they playing with our phones, our electricity, and all of that stuff. You might want to think about getting you a walkie-talkie or two so you'll be able to communicate with your family. Get your propane tanks and all of that stuff filled up. Prepare, prepare, prepare. And for those of you who say, man, that may not never happen. Well, suppose it do happen. And you the only one that's out here not prepared. I would not want to be you. I wouldn't want to be you. So I'm here and I'm encouraging you. I even heard them talking about martial law on the news. It's hard to come by ammunition. Trust me. We've asked. We don't do target practice as much as we used to anymore because ammunition is not always easy to come into. So you need to have your ammunition. You need to be able to protect yourself and your family at all costs. But I can only I can only tell you what I can tell you. And hmm, good for you, Shalyssa. Shalyssa say she planted a pineapple today. Pineapple is one of the easiest things that you can plant. You should not be throwing them away. I can show you in my garden right now that I have pineapples growing from pineapples that I only got from the grocery store. I haven't bought no pineapple from the grocery store in a long time. And when I get those, I make more from those. But um, we believe in growing food over here. It don't have to be nothing fancy. Get you something growing. You don't want to be sorry. Thank you. They ain't watching. Oh, my Urban Dollar Tree sell nothing but flower seeds. So guess I'll be at Home Depot. Yeah, go to Home Depot, Miss Coffee. Don't let me have to make you up a little care package of seeds. Open up some of my packages and shake you some in the thing and then send them to you in the mail. Especially, I know you serious about it too. I don't mind sending a seed package for you to start a garden. Now, my husband said, "Walk and talk." See there, Well, see, then I ain't the only one that's thinking that, because see, look, they already playing with our cell phones and everything. You can't talk on them the right way. It's been so many days this week and last week that I done talk to people on the phone, and then the phone just go out whenever it get ready to. So you want to be prepared. You know how when a storm come through, us in Florida, hurricane season getting ready to come. Sometimes you pull up to the gas stations, you gonna be there by the time you get up to the gas pump. You'll be done ran out of gas that's out here, because everything's so locked up at a time. If you got gas propane tanks, have them already filled up. Don't wait till the last minute trying to fill them up. um but again, make sure you preparing for you and your family, because we don't know what's coming, what kind of shortages is coming up. Just make sure you're able to take care of you and your family. I thought about walkie talkies today. I did a whole video about surviving when this shit hit the fan. A lot of people will not be ready, sis. And absolutely, and guess what too? What's gonna happen is the ones that don't get prepared, they'll be looking at the ones that did prepare and thinking of how they can get what you already have. So that's right, stay ready so you won't have to get ready. I won't be mad. I'm ready for that too. um but I'm growing one from another one. Yeah, that's right. That keep it going. Do you live in a rural areas? Lots of women where you live very strong with muscles. Juwan, I don't know what you on tonight, but talking to these potatoes. I know that's right. I teach second and third grade, so I get a lot of seeds from the food they throw away. Yes, that's why I was saying tomatoes is one of the best things. If you like tomatoes, you cut a tomato up. Ain't no reason that you ain't even got to put them on no napkin and do nothing with them. Take them tomato seeds and fling them out in the yard. And you watch around, you'll see that tomato plant start to come up. Grow something. I don't know what you're gonna grow. If you work at a school, restaurant, or a store, save them seeds. Absolutely. They're gonna be panicking, teaching my son to fish, hunt, and purify water. I know that's right. Absolutely, y'all. So over here we are the high class gardeners. That just means we don't play with worms, snakes, bugs, and all of that. We get somebody else to do it for me. Yes, I got strawberries planted too. And tomorrow morning, I think we're gonna do a tour. Of the front part of the garden, because y'all ain't seen it since the mangoes and all of that are there. They are already there showing themselves. So plant a sweet potato. When the vines grow out, plant the vines. Absolutely. You can just keep on cutting little snippets of the vine off of them and stick them in the ground somewhere around where you live at. And you will have sweet potatoes growing on the ground. I said, I don't care if I could turn my whole yard into a sweet potato patch and just put them down everywhere. And eventually, I'm going to have them growing everywhere, because I got sweet potatoes still growing in every place that I done planted them in before, places I didn't mean for them to be planted in. They growing everywhere. And I'm okay with that. Who ain't okay with being able to go out in your yard and get a sweet potato? You ain't got to do much to a sweet potato, but throw it in some heat, cook it up and scoop it out, and eat it up, and it's good for you. So, over here we are about growing, whether it's in the garden, in real life. You all, I can't even tell you. I'm growing, and I feel like I'm having like a growth spurt, because I'm trying to do a whole bunch of different things at one time. And right now, I feel my eyes feel so heavy because I've been up for the past 2 days painting. I done went crazy. I done thought, but let me paint this one area, then I'm gonna go to paint this area over here too. And so now I'm in a painting frenzy. So but I feel like that's me growing, and I'm getting back to a place, not to my OCD place, but to a good place in my life where I got balance. And so um my garden is a representation of how I'm growing in my life. So I'm glad you're gonna be home tomorrow, Miss Coffee. So I will see y'all in the morning. I would love to show you some amazing garden ideas, sis. I would like you to show them to me too. And you got Kanita, you say you got a page too? Cause I'm that I think Kanita says she has a page. If you want to, you can drop your page here in the comment section. Miss Coffee, please drop your page. Anybody else in here that has a channel or whatever, drop your channel here in the chat. And let's network and help each other, help each other grow. There again, we growing. Let's help each other grow. Do you grow organic? Everything I grow, Jawan, is organic. Everything. I grow sweet potatoes, but I eat the leaves. Oh, Mika, I've heard a lot of people do that. I'm scared to try it though. I'm scared. Cause I want to know is it do it taste like spinach or something like that? But see, that's one of them things I ain't never tried before. I don't eat the leaves, but I eat the sweet potatoes. Don't do that with mint because mint will never stop growing, taking over everything. So it's okay then. Um, do y'all know where we should get the walkie talkies from? Tasha Speaks, how you doing tonight? Anyways, Tasha Speaks, you can go to any like your big box stores. You can go to Home Depot, Tractor Supply, all of those places. You can even look online and you can order you some walkie talkies. Um, I even thought for a long time, they used to have a little chirp thing. They came out with chirp a long time ago, and then that disappeared. I use food from organic compost. Yeah, compost can grow good food too. Walmart should have them big lots and staples. Yeah, I mean, see, all kinds of ideas of in here coming, but when you're not able to talk on a phone or whatever like that, you can have a walkie-talkie, and some of them walkie-talkies stretch really far. So you want to be able to be in communication with your family. You want to have you a way to cook. You want to have you some dry wood that may be in your yard or whatever. All kinds of ways of thinking of growing. We don't just have to grow in the garden. We have to grow in all different areas of our life. Point blank period. But yeah, y'all put y'all channels in here and support. I eat the leaves. I was in ICU my first 5 times eating the leaves. Now I don't get sick no more when I eat them. Oh my goodness, you got sick from eating the sweet potato vines? Oh my goodness. Okay, just like spinach. Okay then. Yeah, I've never tried them before. Hey Divine Destiny, how you doing tonight? But we all in here, we're just talking about growing. If you come in here and then we are able to go and we going over and support each other's page, if only we do it for 5 minutes. Do you understand? 5 minutes of watching somebody's channel is a view. We can help somebody grow just by doing that. I love to come into people's lives and stuff and talk to them, whatever. I love having conversations. I even open up my panel from time to time. I haven't done it in a very long time, but you know, I feel so um at peace. That's what I'm gonna say. I feel so at peace right now that I don't have a whole lot to come on, and I'm not sad about that. I'm actually thankful, but I'm glad to be able to have conversations like this with y'all. And oh, one other thing that I wanted to tell y'all was, um, I've been saving up eggs, and I have not been cleaning them and storing them away in the refrigerator because we're gonna start the incubator sometime this week. How many eggs we gonna have? I don't know. We seeing what the chickens gonna put out this week, and I'm gonna get the incubator to going because we create baby chickens every year. Last year we did, I think, 79 chickens last year, and we ain't going so big this year. But we gonna start the incubation process in the same way we growing with everything else. We gonna grow some baby chickens together, and we gonna watch them hatch together right here on live, and we'll go from there. um Another way of growing. Oh Lord, you gave your chickens away. You afraid of them? You know Mika. They put out that magic gold now. Come on now. You gotta get over the fear of the chickens. Yes. You know my chickens put out my favorite thing, and that's that chicken poop. I'm multicultural American and West African. Okay. I would love to come on and have you on my show, sis. Anyone who like to tell these stories or garden info. Kanita, whenever you want to have a conversation and whatever, I need to subscribe to your page, and then anytime I'm good, you might get tired of me talking now, cause Shauna Shauna be a talker if I got somebody to have a conversation with. So, but yeah, Mika, you better get your chickens back. Get one. Lay you an egg every now and then, but the poop that they put out is like, that's amazing for your plants and everything. Um, I'm moving in your Miss Collins, you moving in my yard. I have to see that. I've been wondering about how the incubation process goes. I mean, it's pretty good. The incubation process can be a lot like having a baby, having a newborn baby sometimes, because only because there's a certain amount of humidity that's supposed to be inside of there, and anytime that humidity gets off inside of there, that alarm will go off, and it's like screaming your head off for you to get up and put some water in that thing, and it don't matter what time of the night it is, or no, none of that stuff. So that's about the worst thing of it, but the rest of it is very, very easy going. I actually have a video of our chickens hatching on here. You have to go back sometime, but it's up under my videos. And I think I'm coming out or something like that. One of those videos, but you can see it in the thumb. You can see the thumbnail of the chickens are hatching. But we're gonna put some chickens in the incubator and get them to growing so we can grow along with everything else that's growing in our yard. And I said what I'll probably do too is when the mangoes finally get to a place of where they about to do their thing or whatever, I might do a little giveaway, um, you know, with some of my mangoes, since we have so many of them. Not that I just want to give them all away, but I love to share um some of the things that I have, and I think that would be great to be able to send somebody some of the things that I grow right here in my garden, sharing that we grew together over here. Oh, I have to see that. I've been wondering about how the incubation process go. My garden saved me from the narc. And listen, my garden saved me from a whole bunch of things. A whole bunch of things. I can't even tell you, when I don't have any peace anymore, I can go out there in my garden and just dig it, pull up weeds and everything like that. And I can't tell you how much better that makes me feel. I even told some of my subscribers and stuff, sometimes I go on there and I have a hard time inviting the camera into the garden space with me, because that's where I spend my time um talking to my God and having a long time with him and working out things in my mind, and that's the place where I have the most peace ever, um in my garden. So again, I love to tell y'all thank y'all so much for coming through. Please, please do. So glad I found you and your sister. I'm glad you came through too, Kanita. Um, was dozing until I heard chicken poo. You all Korean, you always come through when you hear that. No, you won't. You won't get tired. Let me see. Go back through. You won't get tired of Shonda talking. She got wisdom, and we love all the conversations. Yeah, I love to talk to people, but sometimes I just feel like sometimes I be doing that babbling on. But I'm gonna tell you something about babbling on. Sometimes I can talk to people, and I can feel like I'm babbling on. And I've heard 1,000 times that sometimes when I do that, the person will end up saying, "You answered what I needed without me even asking you a question because I was babbling on and I just bust out laughing every time at myself babbling on. But you know, that's Shauna. So once the chickens hatch, do you have to put them in a chicken coop? Usually when my chickens first be born, I keep them in a fish tank at first. So I have a light on them or whatever. But I usually do it. It's still cool usually when I hatch my chickens. But at this point, we ain't going through all that. I ain't got to pull out the light and all of that there stuff like that. They are gonna go in a chicken coop, which I already have. I just moved my chickens. Like right now, I have 4 chicken pens. Um, as we take them to turn them into food, we move them down one chicken pen, leave the first chicken pen done, rested, cleaned up, fill back up with mulch and everything, and redo it for the babies only. And so we have one section for the babies. So whole bunch of process. But I mean, it ain't no biggie thing. I mean, just think about back in the old days, back, probably even before you was born. Think about how they used to have farms and stuff like that, and chickens and all of that good stuff. It wasn't nothing fancy. Sometimes you be overthinking things, thinking that thinking that you need to have all this and all that, and you don't really need to have all of those fancy things to be able to have your garden. Just go ahead and put you some food in the ground and make it do what it do. That's the most important thing. Yes, growing with Hudson, it absolutely provides a whole lot of things. Um, Wait till you see mine. I got so creative to keep away from mice till I was able to leave, and I can show you how to grow in small spaces inside and outside. See, that works for a lot of people. That's on the inside of here. A lot of people do apartment growing, and all of that. So you know, you have to think of different ways. Like I tell them, put it in the window. If you got to use every window sill in your house, there is no excuse. There's no excuse that you can't grow anything. All right, Divine Destiny. I love microgreens. They grow fast in a week. That's another thing, Miss Coffee, that I was telling. Well, I didn't tell Miss Coffee about the microgreens, but I told her about the lettuce that you can snip the lettuce off all throughout the week, and just lettuce will keep coming back and forth right there in your window. Let God take over your garden and it will grow. That's absolutely where it went to, Kanita. And when I'm telling you, everything out here is blooming. Did y'all see my video today in one of our mango trees? We got see y'all. I said I was gonna be on here for 30 minutes. Here we is at 1 hour and 8 minutes. Shauna talking. There you go. I told you once the comments start rolling and talking, I'm gonna keep right on talking. I looked in one of the mango trees, and there's a bird nest in there. The eggs are there, and then went back, and now the birds have hatched. They red birds. Um, and they can be cute and ugly at the same time. E.T. You know that. But anyway, life is booming. Growing everywhere. Um, I have to get up in the AM. Y'all have a blessed week. You have a awesome week too, growing with us, and I hope your birthday was a blast. You only turned 51 time. And I hope you did it, sis. You have a good night too. I even use grow lamps. See that, Miss Coffee? There goes somebody else. I told you, get you some grow lights. Yeah, if you scared of the outdoors, or you can't do it outdoors, the temperatures ain't right, bring it on the inside. Bring it on in. I love that you reply back to the comments. I made homemade traps to keep the animals away. Now, see, that's right now. That's one of my struggles right now is the because I have my chicken pen really close to my house, and when you got chickens, they create other rodents and stuff like that. And I refuse to use like any poisons or anything like that, because those things can get around and then they pass away inside of my chicken pen or something like that. I wouldn't want my chickens to get hold to any of that. So it's like we find a one by one battle over here. But um, we growing, and what we don't know now, we'll get it together. My garage will be a greenhouse when time comes. I know that's right. Go ahead, Kanita, take it over. I had the front yard. My front yard was colorful as I don't know what. And my husband say, you gonna have to take that to the back. And ever since then, I've been growing and growing and growing. I started with some little pots from the Dollar Tree when we first moved out here, because I had a garden before that was really big where we were before. But this time we got a garden from the front to the back. We got all kinds of trees and everything. Y'all, I made a peach tree. Oh, so much stuff. Peach trees, apple trees, pomegranate trees. Right here in my yard. Growing my own bananas, growing my own mangoes and all of that stuff. Y'all get into it. Get into it. We over here growing. So, but y'all, like I said, I will be back on here in the morning so we can do our garden tour and see what is happening out in the garden, because we haven't seen in about 4 or 5 days. But we'll be here in the morning, and I will go back through and see who all I see, and hopefully I will be able to find each one of y'all that posted your channels in here if I'm not already subscribed to it. But I'm sure trying to have it. I'm getting that. Them bananas was good too and sweet. Oh, you ain't one of the bananas, Shalyssa? All righty then. I ain't no girl, but anyways. All right, you all. I hope you all are very, very blessed in your endeavors into the garden, and anything you got going on in your garden and you got any questions, if I can help you out with them, I am more than glad to help you out in your garden, which where I can. I'm not a professional. I just know how to grow food and get some food over here in my garden. I'm not no professional. And what I can't answer, I'm sure one of these other lovely people in here that's helping grow food too, they'll help you answer some of those questions. Because we here to help each other grow. That's what we here to do. So if that is all, I was getting ready to do like what my grandma them do. Well, back in the days when they let out in the Baptist church, you would say, golly, I'm trying to think of how when you get ready to get out, they used to say the same thing every time you thought. I don't know why that crossed my mind when I just thought about it. All right, but you all, again, I thank you all for being here and making this live be what it is, because I had y'all to talk to, the high class gardeners. If all hearts and minds are clear. All right, Shalyssa, you helping me out. Going back to the church. But all right, y'all. Y'all have a good night. Thank you all for coming over here and chilling with life with Tashana over here, where you never know what you're gonna get over here, because we just living life over here and we trying to grow through whatever situations that we going through. And that's all that matters. If you can grow through anything that you going through, that's all that matters. So let's grow. Y'all have an amazing night. See y'all tomorrow.